Listening, Part 4. Multiple choice.
All this week, our medical correspondent Andy Vale has been with us looking at interesting news stories concerning events that have changed people's lives. Today, Andy is going to tell us about an illness that changed a young man's life completely for 3 years. Andy, tell us more.
Well, I like this story because it's about something that on the surface seems quite a comical and common problem. We've all had hiccups and laughed at people who can't stop hiccuping. It's a funny sound, and the fact that we can't control it makes it even funnier. But hiccups that go on for a very long time is a very different matter, and this is extremely rare. I myself learned a great deal while researching this story. 3 years ago, young Chris Sands got hiccups. There's certainly nothing strange about that, but in Chris's case, the hiccups weren't cured with a glass of water or after a sleep. Chris's hiccups lasted 3 long years.
And was he hiccuping continuously all that time?
It apparently started with a 2-week bout of hiccuping, followed by a 6-month break. But when they restarted, the hiccups were constant, sometimes every 2 seconds. And Chris has calculated that over the 3 years, he must have hiccuped over 20 million times. It affected every aspect of his life. He couldn't work, and going out with friends or having a girlfriend was impossible because the hiccups kept making him sick and sometimes caused him to pass out. If he went out, he had to look for the quickest exits in case he felt ill. Even in his sleep, he hiccuped and woke up with pains in his side. His life was really miserable.
Did Chris get any treatment for the problem?
Initially, doctors thought there might be something wrong with a valve in his stomach, so they operated, but that didn't help. Chris himself tried alternative therapies too, such as acupuncture, as well as traditional ways of stopping hiccups, but nothing worked. He was desperate.
I don't know how he managed to cope as well as he did.
He had almost accepted that he was going to have hiccups for the rest of his life when he was contacted by the producers of a Japanese TV company, who invited him to appear on a show about astonishing illnesses. The show's producers were so interested in Chris's problem that they came all the way to England to film him in his home. When the programme was shown on Japanese TV, there were a lot of responses. Over 400 different remedies were sent in by viewers, but more importantly for Chris, the programme was seen by a Japanese doctor who had been conducting research into hiccups for 15 years. He organised a trip to Japan for Chris to have some special tests.
And what did they discover?
It appeared that Chris had a small tumour in his brain which was pressing on the nerves that control our breathing. The hiccups were a symptom and not the illness itself. It wasn't cancerous, but if it was allowed to continue growing, it would affect his eyesight, speech and movement and probably kill him within 2 years. The problem was that an operation to remove it was very dangerous because it was so close to other important parts of the brain. Chris was warned that if he went ahead with the operation, there might be side effects and he could be left with severe medical problems. He decided it was worth it, and last year he had the tumour removed.
And did he make a complete recovery?
The surgery was successful. Chris does have a problem with movement in his left arm, but he hopes that exercise will cure that. The important thing is that the tumour and the hiccups are gone and Chris can lead a normal life.
I imagine his life is completely different now.
Yes, Chris now has a lot to look forward to. He can work again properly and he can socialise without having to worry about being sick or passing out all the time. It's difficult to list all the ways his life is better now. Also, he has a future which he wouldn't have had without the operation. So you could say that, in a way, having hiccups for all those years actually saved his life.